Time to have a second class and is entitled Domestic LPG Safety. Yes, domestic LPG safety. How do you handle the cooking gas in the home? Let's give attention to Sebilat, Quadri. Please, you have our undivided attention. Sebilat.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sebilat Quadri, and I'll be talking on domestic LPG safety. This particular topic is an essential aspect of the LPG value chain because it's the aspect that deals with the end users and on nothing about the characteristics of LPG. So in this presentation, I'll be talking on the characteristics of LPG, the safety precaution, as well as emergency response procedure.
Sebilat, so you want to put it in presentation mode, the slide mode?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Okay, now it's better. Right.
Okay. So this is the outline of the presentation. As I said before, we'll be talking on the characteristics, safety precaution, and emergency response. So introduction. LPG, also known as cooking gas, has been identified as a cleaner alternative to other traditional fuels like kerosene, charcoal. Thanks to continuous LPG awareness activities from the World LPGA, Green LPG, and government agencies, most homes now enjoy the efficiency and convenience of cooking and heating from a clean energy source that is not unsafe. Yes, safe when we take the note. So characteristics of LPG, these are some of the characteristics of LPG that we as end users should understand. LPG is a mixture of two flammable hydrocarbons, propane and butane, which have been liquefied and stored in an LPG vessel. LPG is a colorless gas, so LPG leaks are not visible. But of course, we can detect the smells because a strong stenching agent has been added to detect leaks. LPG is heavier than air. It's good to understand this. So in case of LPG leak, we will understand that the leak will settle at the lowest level in the house, at the ground level. LPG expands with increase in temperature. So these are one of the reasons why cylinders should never be filled to the top. The safe filling point for our cylinder is between 80 to 85%. Then we should always leave room for expansion of LPG. LPG has a flammable range between 2 to 10% volume of gas in the air. So it's important to know this, that, okay, at any point in time, if LPG leak occupies between 2 to 10% of the volume of gas in the air, then there is risk of fire if proper precautions are not put in place. Critical precaution stages for domestic users. Most end users think that, okay, the LPG safety actually domestic LPG safety starts from when you are actually cooking, but this is not right. The actual domestic safety starts from the point of purchase, during the transportation, at the point of installation, and during the actual usage of LPG. We will explain further as we go along. So point of purchase. At every point in time, ensure purchase of gas cylinder, the gas cooker, and other accessories are from an authorized distributor and a licensed gas plant. Check for mandatory markings that should be engraved on every standard cylinder, such as the SON mark of quality, the manufacturer standard, the tare weight, the capacity of the cylinder. Also, when purchasing your gas cooker, look out for the flame failure device on your gas burners before purchase. This is a key safety feature on your cooker. It is responsible for stopping the flow of gas to the burner of your gas cooker if the flame has been extinguished for any reason. So this is very important. Still on point of purchase, ensure you carry out visual inspection to check for rust or any damage on the cylinder as seen in the images on the slides. This is also very important for the end users that does exchange of gas cylinders. Some that will take their empty cylinder to a filling plant or an exchange point, and they will exchange it with a fuel cylinder. You must always know what to look out for, always carry out your visual inspection, such as checking for a damaged rod, A cylinder with no shroud or a damaged shroud, you can't afford to have that because it's actually the shroud that protects the valve of the cylinder, and it also serves as a handle. So check for leaking seals, damaged footring, dented body. So as seen on part of the images on the slide, there's a particular cylinder here having a damaged footring. Obviously, this kind of cylinder, we have issues with stability. This is a picture of a cylinder with a dented body, with a rusted body. For no reason should we accept this sort of cylinder to manage, please. So during transportation, while moving your gas cylinder, lift it carefully with a straight back and stay alert to avoid manual handling hazards. Never roll cylinders on the side, regardless of it being empty or not. Your cylinder should be positioned upright while in transit with the valve facing upward, as seen in the image on the slide. If for any reason you notice a leak from your LPG bottle while in transit, please return immediately to the filling plant. Do not attempt to risk using it in its damaged state. So at the point of installation, ensure installation is done by an experienced or authorized personnel. On this slide, I've put a picture of part of the things we can look out for when getting a gas technician to do our gas fittings, do our installation. This is an example of the NLPGA training card that they issue out to the personnel that has been trained to do gas fittings and all. So these are part of the things you should look at. Anybody doing your installation should have some sort of ID card for where they have been trained to do the gas fittings. It is important to note that gas cylinders are better installed outside in a cool, dry place, away from water and direct sunlight, as seen on the image on the slide. Indoor installation requires that you keep the room well ventilated, away from heating sources and potential sources of ignition. Still at the point of installation, make sure that the cylinder is stood on a level surface where it is less likely to fall. A gas cylinder that falls to the ground may have its valve damaged and thereby causing rapid release of high pressured gas to the surrounding. Ensure the gas cooker is kept on a platform above the cylinder level. So let me explain this further. Looking at the first image where we have a cylinder that is upright and a cylinder that is bent. So the danger in this is, okay, looking at a cylinder that is bent, you can see that, okay, a sharp object that is most likely to drop on this cylinder can go through the shroud and damage the valve of this cylinder that is bent, which is very dangerous. Another thing is that, okay, as the cylinder is bent, if you connect your hose and your regulator to this sort of cylinder, there is a risk of having the liquid phase of the cylinder flowing through the hose, which is also very dangerous. So at every point in time, our cylinder should be placed upright, please. And looking at the second image as well, where we have a gas cooker that is kept on a platform above the cylinder level and the one that is kept below the cylinder level. As we can see here, there is also a risk because of the way the hose has been positioned on where we have the cylinder at the lower level, the gas cooker at the lower level. From this, there's still a risk of having the liquid phase of the cylinder flowing through the hose. And secondly, remember when we were when I mentioned the characteristics of LPG, that it is heavier than air. So in this second case where we have the gas cooker above the cylinder level, in case of for any reason, if there is any gas leak, it will of course go to the lower level of on the ground, where it can detect the leak on time and quickly switch off your valve and your burner. But in this case now, where you have your gas cooker below the cylinder level, if there is any gas leak, remember that it is also going to the ground level while you are cooking. So we can do the math of how dangerous that can be. And also, even cooking this way, all the heat from your cooking will also be affecting the body of the cylinder, which can further damage it. So for our installation, it is very wrong to have the gas cooker below the cylinder level. So during the actual LPG usage, ensure that the kitchen or the cooking area is adequately ventilated. This is by having the windows open for complete to avoid incomplete combustion. I will speak more on that on the next slide. Always strike the kitchen lighter or the matchstick first before turning on the burner knob. Never use mobile phones in the kitchen while cooking with LPG. Do not leave the utensil unattended while cooking to avoid spillage on the burner. This can further damage the burner. Avoid placing plastics or flammable items close to the flame. Avoid, by all means, self-repair. Keep children out of the kitchen and LPG appliance installation area. So talking about incomplete combustion of LPG. Incomplete combustion of LPG can occur while cooking in a poorly ventilated room where there is insufficient oxygen in the atmosphere for complete combustion of gas. In this case, carbon monoxide may be produced. So there is an equation on the slide. There are two equations that shows what happens during complete combustion and what happens during incomplete combustion. So during the complete, you can see where we have a sufficient oxygen, it will produce carbon dioxide, water vapor, and heat. And in the case where we have insufficient oxygen, we have the carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, water vapor, and heat. So what is this carbon monoxide? It's a colorless, odorless, but significantly toxic gas that can be poisonous to humans. So carbon monoxide poisoning is a life-threatening emergency that occurs from inhaling carbon monoxide fumes in high concentration. So early signs are headache, dizziness, and while large exposure can lead to toxicity of the body system and even death. So still on carbon monoxide, in addition to a poorly ventilated cooking area, other factors that may generate the release of carbon monoxide is a damaged or malfunctioning cooking appliance. As seen in images on the slide, always check your burner. Blue flame means the appliance is having a clean burn, while the yellow flame assigns that the cooker is not burning correctly and needs to be checked or serviced as soon as possible by a licensed gas technician. So please, let's take note of our burners as well. So let's move on to routine safety checks. The following are the routine safety checks that should be carried out regularly at intervals. They are very simple. You can do it at any point in time. Check the regulator to ensure that it's not faulty and the control switch is still working. If this control switch is not working, it's better you replace it immediately because it is very dangerous. Check the rubber hose for signs of breakage, kinking, or wearing out. Check the hose clips to ensure they are firmly secured and in good condition. Also, check the gas burner for signs of rust or damage. As seen on the image, like the fourth image on the slide, this is a badly damaged gas burner. If a gas burner looks this way, it should be abandoned completely because it is very dangerous to light this kind of gas burner. Also, check the gas cylinder for cracks, dents, or rust. Still on routine checks, check for gas leaks using a liquid soap solution test. This is a simple test that you can do when you suspect any gas leak. Just do a soap solution, probably in a bottle or anywhere, and sprinkle it in the area where you suspect that there might be leaks. So if you have, as seen in the image on the slide, if you have probably bubbles showing up like this in any part where you sprinkle the soap solution, then this is a sign that there might be some sort of leakage in this particular area. So this is a simple way you can detect gas leaks when you suspect anything. And also there are devices such as electronic gas detectors, portable handheld devices that can also be used in the house to detect leaks. So let's talk about emergency response. For any reason, if there is a gas leak, do not panic. Switch off the regulator and the burner knobs immediately. Open the windows and doors to disperse the gas to open air. Do not switch off or on any electrical switches or appliances as these are potential sources of ignition when you have a leak. Do not attempt to use electric fan to exhaust gas, as sparks in the fan may also cause an explosion. In case of fire, use a portable fire extinguisher to put out the fire immediately. If fire is around the cylinder and you cannot close the regulator or remove the cylinder from the heat source, keep the cylinder cool by spreading sand on it. Please leave the gas area and call for help if the situation is beyond your control or you are unsure of what exactly to do. It's better to call for help. So following these safety precautions and carrying out the simple routine checks would guarantee safety with your gas appliance at home. Be safe and keep using gas. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sebilat Quadri, for the very informative and educating presentation on domestic LPG safety. We have actually learned so much from what you have delivered for us.